Everybody, how you doing? Good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock on Friday. You're here at Burnie's Applebox, and I am here with my good buddy Gary Hyman.
Goodness, I made it again. Yes, I'm back for more pain and pleasure, right?
If I would have known $25 could get you to show up like clockwork on Fridays,
it would have been $24.99.
I would have done this 20 years ago.
$24.99. I'll save you a penny.
$24.99?
I'll get you a Groupon.
Always a good deal.
Groupon.
Always a good deal with Gary Hyman. So yeah, here we are, Gary. How you doing, buddy?
Very good. Very
All right,
good.
did you have a good week?
Good week.
I had a good week too, and
Absolutely.
I think that's what I'd like to start off talking about. And there's so much, but you know what? Every time that we do this show, every time it's over, and I go home, and it's been a couple hours since we've done it, I thought, why didn't I talk about this?
Of course.
Why didn't I talk about that? So I'm going to try to do a better job of like collecting my thoughts and bringing them up and talk. Sure. And we're going to do, I'd like to do several things. I know you were on a show this week. I was on a show this week that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Environmental conditions were intense.
Yes.
So I'd like to talk about how you handle yourself on set, one, and that's, you know, in a decorum way.
Sure.
The other is, how do you handle some heavy environments? Because I was out in the desert, high heat, you know, a lot of activity, all of that stuff. And I've got a funny story in there you haven't heard yet too that I know you're going to love. I know you're going to love it. But I want to talk a little bit about that. And I think we've got a couple guys from past shows. I think Paul Majetti and Andrew Red both.
Sure.
They have some good points, and I wanted to springboard off of that as well and have a little discussion. But most importantly, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you, and we want you to share the show. So I would like to give me feedback during the show, questions during the show, disagree with us during the show. I mean, whatever you want, but I'd like your input, and I would really appreciate it if you share this show. Share this to some of your favorite groups, share it to some friends, share it on your Facebook page, obviously, and a YouTube channel, all of that. But we'd really like to get a good cross-section. This show is for you. It's for the production professionals in our industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do we do a shout out to the guys?
Well, we may as well, huh?
Yeah, I think
Tony and Sean.
Yeah, Tony and Sean.
Yeah,
Hey,
Tony.
everyone.
Hey, there they are.
Again.
There they are.
Yep, without them, nothing happens.
Without them, I'm getting a little worried about Sean though with those glasses.
Yeah, those
We used to call those heroin glasses.
Oh yeah, that's right.
When I was in high school, of course, that was just around the time heroin was being invented.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the guys are talking. Tony, as you know, was on vacation last week. Tony, where'd you go last week? Where was it?
Took a trip up to Alaska with the family.
Awesome.
Wow.
Alaska. Little cruise. A cruise. That's nice. You know, that's a good family activity.
Absolutely.
The cruise, you know that?
Absolutely.
You kind of keep a handle on the kids, but there's plenty for them to do.
Yes.
Then they go offshore, and everybody's pretty relaxed. Right?
How was the weather up there, Tony? I just had a curiosity.
Yeah.
It was surprisingly good, actually.
Wow.
We ended up missing some pretty bad weather within like a day of every stop we were at. So mostly sunshine and good temperatures.
That's awesome. That's great.
Are the polar caps melting like they say?
Oh yes, polar caps melting. Yeah, all the polar bears are turning brown.
Oh, brown. Okay, there we go. I knew it.
Oh, there you go. Is that the Alaska joke? I think that's the Alaska joke. That sounds like the Alaska joke to me. I'm just turning off my phone.
He's got a no caller ID.
No caller ID coming in.
Yeah, there goes another job.
That's it. Jeez. I can't afford to do the show
anymore. Putin or something.
I keep missing the calls. You know, you would be surprised though how many good calls come in while I'm doing the show, and they're not related. It's not because somebody's watching me and calling in. You know what I mean? But for some reason during this hour, when I'm totally preoccupied on something else, people call in.
Sure.
And I've gotten a lot of jobs while I'm doing this show.
Absolutely.
I know,
a lot of
really
people have
surprised me.
taken away jobs from me since I've been on the show.
I mean, that could very well. Who knows how many I've lost with this show? That's probably the better question. How many shows have you lost? I don't know, at least 1.5 per show.
Speaking of phone calls, it's sort of scary these days. We're getting calls by robotic calls, robocalls.
God, those are
and
horrible.
just what do they call them? Sweat call shops.
Yeah. What is it?
Home improvement. All that fun
sweat
stuff.
shops. Yeah.
So literally on the way in to the show, I get a call and it says California. The city.
Yeah.
And I'm going, another commercial call. And I hear this, hello, is this Gary? And I go, I hope so, right? Yeah. And he goes, well, I've got a shoot next week. I go, oh my goodness, how did I answer the phone, right? So word to the wise, every call that comes in, you gotta play business like.
Gary.
But it was okay. It opened up the conversation, and luckily the guy had a good attitude.
Yeah. A lot of times, you want to be conscious of that. You're very conscious. I always want to be opening. If I have a name on that screen, if it hasn't been a long time ago,
right?
You know what I mean? I usually answer by name. Hey, hey Jim, how you doing? Hey Barbara, how are you?
Sure.
Something like that. If it's been a little longer since I've seen him, I don't trust the name that it might have. The phones could have switched, or to somebody else or something.
I mean, that brings up a good point because the phone companies are now offering screen calling, so they will show the name that's calling in.
Right. Oh, so cool. They actually get the name from the person's phone and show it. I like that.
That's the way to go.
I like that.
It's like $1.99 a month. Probably worth it.
Well worth it for me, I would tell you. Worth it for me. I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you my story right now because it involves the phone, and I know you especially are going to love it, especially because I was involved with it. So I'm sitting there, first of all, and we'll get more into this, but I just want to talk about, I was in Thermal, California. I was out on the racetrack, okay? It was literally the lowest temperature of the 3 days was 105, okay? And we are literally sucking water down left and right? So it's busy, I've got a lot of things. I've got a fair-sized crew, right? Nothing huge, but there's always busy. I got guys are shooting over here, guys are shooting over there. It's not just one camera, so I've got to assign guys and stay places myself and do all that. So the production manager, this lady, who I'd been dealing with for the last month, right? So over the phone we've been back and forth, and we got to know each other fairly well. She's out there for 2 days, and all 3 days. So I'm over by the truck, and I can't remember if I came over to it and she was there or she came over when I was there. I can't remember that. But she had something to talk to me about the guys, about the process of the show, the show being over, something like that. So I'm standing there and talking to her, and I hear some talking, right? And it's just like a distraction, so you don't really notice it, right? And so I'm there, and I hear this, I go, while we're talking, right, she hears it too, and I hear this, like somebody says, well, what do you do to help your lover? What do you do to enhance your lover's desire? You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, who? I just first you hear it, and then you got to absorb what you hear because it's so out of context to what you're doing. She's looking at me, I'm looking at her, we're still carrying our dialogue on. And then, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but they come up with another sexual technique on keeping your lover interested, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm going, I start turning around and looking. She's looking too. Now we're off our conversation. She's going, where is that coming from? And I go, what idiot is playing that shit? You know what I mean? And I look down, right? And I go, God, it sounds like it's coming from my pocket. I pull it out, and I don't know how this happens. I got an iPhone X, And yes, I do.
Oh, now it's triple X.
I fell into that one. Good one, Gary.
XXX.
Good one.
You set me up. You like that, huh?
But here's what it is. I have a podcast app. So it's got like 100 some different
100
podcasts
million.
of people that are
Sure.
making podcasts all the time.
Of course.
You get the app and then you follow the people that you want and they're seem pre-programmed. You know.
Sure.
Well, at one point, being an adult, you know what I
Right.
mean? I did follow the sex podcast, right? But listen, this is not something I even.
Of course.
I even like listen to. I don't
Sure.
even listen to podcasts. So there.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
Wow,
you know what I mean?
wow.
So, but my question is this: is first of all, it couldn't have picked a worse.
The worst
You know what I mean?
time.
When I'm talking to the woman. Production manager,
Sure.
you know what I mean? To have that in this day and age,
Right.
anything sexual coming up, you
Right.
know what I mean? So it's like, oh, was that a
PC.
plan?
Yeah,
Or, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Or,
Are you asking me out?
yeah. In the worst possible way.
possible.
Yeah. So here's what I'm wondering about. I mean, it was mine. And of course, once you pull it out of your pocket,
so you're
try to
caught.
turn a
No
podcast
way,
off.
no way.
Tell me with it. Yeah, I flipped the screen, so now it's not even on the screen where it
Yeah,
was.
you
Where I
can't
have a
even
pod-
find it now.
Now I'm swiping through the phone, thinking I think this was my podcast.
Oh,
app.
my
You know what I
goodness.
mean?
Oh.
And so finally, I literally run away just to get away from anybody hearing it. I panic now, and I'm over there.
Turn it off.
Yeah, turn it off. Turn it off. Make it stop.
Classic.
So,
That's great.
But here's my question. This thing.
Yeah, that
You
thing.
know, yeah,
that $1,000
I'm
thing.
a little mad at it right now, but this thing, it won't come on theoretically until it sees my face, right? It's facial recognition.
That's correct.
right? So it won't come on until it sees my face, or I have to put a code in it.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
After I'm off the phone and the screen goes down and I put it in my pocket, how the hell does it get turned on again? Not only turned on again, not only activated and the screen can receive information, then how does it go to the podcast?
Scary, isn't
Then
it?
how does it pick a podcast?
Amazing,
and then how does it
amazing.
start playing the podcast?
Yeah, that
I
is
mean, that's
crazy.
3 or 4 steps, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just know with the phones, right when you get done with that call, sometimes you think, oh, did I push the button or not? Maybe you thought you did or you didn't, and then it goes in your pocket, and then the fun begins.
I'm obviously doing something wrong.
Well, how many
I'm
times?
obviously
Yeah.
not, I'm
Hanging up, official hanging
Well,
up.
I hang up. Generally, I will let I will flip it back to the regular
Mm-hmm.
screen. You know what I mean? I guess maybe I don't sit there and let the screen go black. Maybe that's what I have to do.
that could have been
and
the
then put
deal.
it in my pocket. And of course, I know the ideal thing is to have a phone case.
Absolutely.
So it's not getting that pressure or being bumped or whatever.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
On your phone. But here's that was one scenario. Now this woman is a sweetheart. She's very cool. She knows me. She knew there was nobody
No
was trying to be
intention, of
inappropriate
course,
or
of
anything
course.
like that. So she was very cool about it. But I thought about it. How many times have I been in a meeting, sitting at a table with a group of people, clients or somebody that you're trying to make
Sure.
a deal with or to give a proposal to? What the hell would happen if you're sitting in a room and that happened?
Well, speaking of which, we always try to tell the crew, the crew that you've brought in,
Right.
please silence your phones.
Oh,
we've asked that
that's
a million
mandatory.
times. So, I remember doing a big time meeting for a client, and sure enough, about halfway through, some guy's phone ringer goes off, and it's one of these headbanging songs. Let the heads roll, whatever it was, right? And everybody goes boink. They're all looking at that guy. So from that point forward, what I tell my crew, is that if anybody's phone goes off during a shoot or a meeting or anything, you lose your day rate that day. Everybody goes, well, that's pretty harsh, Gary. I said, but if my phone goes off, I will double everybody's day rate.
Oh boy, get me on that.
Trust
set.
me.
Get
Trust
me on
me.
that set.
I'm the guy calling everybody's phone off to remind myself that I
Right.
don't want to pay double day rate on anybody.
Right.
But it's never happened. Then, knock on wood.
That's good.
I haven't paid anybody's double day rate.
That's very good. That's very good.
But there you go. I
Yeah.
mean, that, you know, because the shoot could go great. It could go great. Everything flawless. And then the
phone
CEO
call.
is going blah 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 blah. He's on a roll. He's perfect, and somebody's phone goes off and just ruins his timing for the day, and he can never get it back.
Right.
So
right. No, all of that's
there you
very
go.
important. Very
There you
important.
go.
And you don't know. You know, that's what a lot of people don't understand. That CEO, when he comes on set and he's sitting on the chair, he's in character.
Oh yes.
He's a nice guy CEO
Sure.
character right then. But that person who's handling him from his office
The
down
handler.
to the handler or his employee at that
Yeah.
company, that grip's phone goes off. Whoever that person is, they get their ass reamed.
Oh, yeah.
Coming in there.
God.
Then it's just like, what the hell is going on?
Yep.
Why didn't you make sure that didn't happen? What, you know, you're fired, whatever.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But that can happen to that person. So you're putting the client, the person that probably hired your production company, just you're done then. Because
that's
she's going to throw you under the
Oh,
bus immediately.
I mean, you're the first guy to go down because you're the point of contact.
Exactly.
And the one thing I've picked off from one of my clients, they always have what's called a tailboard meeting.
Okay.
And what happens at tailboard before any work begins, you gather the crew around and say, hey, listen, we're in this very expensive office or home, wherever have you, and here's what's going to go down for the shoot. And we want to be safe. We want to leave the office exactly the way we found it, the location.
Yeah.
And just, you know, word savvy to the clients.
Yes,
We want to
yes.
be we want to be budget word conscientious.
Yeah, yes.
Not
yes,
do
yes,
over
yes.
talk.
Well, you know what? The whole idea is like there are people that we're less nervous because we know our process.
Right.
We know if we follow this process,
Sure.
we are not maybe guaranteed of good results, but we are very much in the area of good results, and we can tweak and twist until
Sure.
we make that work. But the clients are not. They maybe are on a set once every 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it looks like chaos.
Right.
We know what it looks like. We know what we're doing and why we're doing it. But somebody standing from the outside, you really ask, what are these people doing?
Absolutely.
It doesn't look like anything coordinated is going on.
Right.
You
And,
know?
and the other deal too is, you know, I was on a shoot the other day for Mazda and name drop, and
Sean, make sure and give Mazda a
write that
call
down.
after
Yeah,
the
yeah.
show.
So what the deal was we were talking. It was early morning, and we're going, well, I hope the client had figured out how to run the heads-up display kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I rented some solid, 20 by 20 solids from Mr. Burnie's Applebox.
That's
you
right,
know,
that's
Burnie
right,
Grip
yeah.
and Lighting. And sure enough, the client was behind that solid, listening in. Now, whether he caught the speech of that, I'm not
No.
sure, but there's a show that, you know,
You must watch your
P's and Q's.
Yeah. I think we might have, Tony, we got somebody out there that
Likes us?
likes us. I didn't want to go that far.
Yeah,
Gary.
yeah,
That's-
yeah,
Like is a very strong word.
Somebody's actually watching today.
Hey, thank you.
Shooty scores!
Woohoo!
Austin Sabato had a question.
Austin Sabato.
Austin Sabato.
Hey, Austin.
Hey, Austin. What do you guys call that meeting, the tail group, a crew meeting before the shoot?
The
Tailboard meeting.
tailboard. See,
Tailboard.
that's a new term to me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a new term.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
that.
got that from one of the utility clients I work for, and since they have to be really safety conscientious before they do the job because either they're climbing poles or towers,
Yeah.
that they go, this is the work to be done. Who's going to call 911? Who knows CPR?
Oh, that's interesting.
It's great. Oh, it's great.
Oh, that's
It
interesting.
is a great way to start the job, and everybody knows their position. All right, he's going to be the watcher. He's going to run the crane. Everybody gets in, and everybody introduces
I
themselves.
like that. I like
tailboard
that.
meeting.
Tailboard meeting. That's
and
what
they
they
got
call
that
it,
from
tailboard meeting.
you get to the back of a pickup truck and you put down so everyone can sit.
So that's what it is. It's like a tailgate meeting.
Absolutely,
Right?
but they call it tailboard.
Interesting.
It's very, very cool.
I like that. It's a good idea. You know, I wished I could say I have a safety meeting every time. I probably do it a
sort of
third
blow
of
it
the
off
time.
a little bit, and trust me, it's not on everything I do, but I try to follow those lines because there's a lot of moving parts to a shoot.
Right.
And if everybody's just got their head down and not watching what they're doing, that's how somebody get hurt or something could break.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what happens to me is when I go on set, when I'm there, and there's always that time that maybe you got there 15 minutes early like you're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But the first thing that happens is you step out of the truck and here comes the production man and there's been a change.
Oh.
Or the truck now has to be parked over here.
Yes.
Or the first scene is going to be outside now as opposed to inside. I'm constantly distracted by that first arriving morning new information. So I'll start assigning people to, you know what I mean? Oh, take the truck and put it over there. Oh, take those high rollers now, they're not going indoors, they're going outdoors, they're going to the backyard. Mm-hmm. So I'll start focusing on that and I'll forget about the safety meeting.
That's exactly what happened, Bernie.
Yeah.
And talking about showing up a taste earlier to shoots is so important also.
Important.
They always say if you show up on time, you're late.
Yeah,
for the call time, kind of deal.
Well, how many times you don't drive the grip truck usually, but for me is I'm going up to LA or down to San Diego or wherever. I know even if I arrive 15 minutes early, that may not be enough time to get the grip truck situated, to temporarily park it somewhere until we make the arrangements of where it goes and stuff like that.
That's the deal. We always think, I don't want to give the production time or the production company any more of my time than allotted.
Yeah.
But no, you can't think like that.
That's a mistake.
That's a mistake. You gotta, it's the beginning of the shoot counts and the end of the shoot, and where you're not just, as soon as they call wrap, you're not just like flying in there, ripping up the tape, trying to get out of there, because the clients are still milling around.
Oh, yeah.
I always tell my guys, hey, you know what? Lock it off. Lock off the cameras. Lock off the lights. Lock everything down. Go to the restroom. Get cleaned up. Whatever you have to do. Let the clients get out of the room. Don't let the dust start flying.
Yes.
Kind of
that's
deal.
a
so you got to give.
point.
It's a give and take on production.
It is. And you always want guys that are sensitive to that information.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's funny too, and I want to get into this shoot that I did this week, and I know you want to talk about one too, but our culture down here and what we do, I had a really stark realization of within our industry how many different cultures there are.
Right.
I was working with a guy this last week, and two guys really, I went out and look, this was the first time I had been out on a shoot, maybe 2 months.
Wow.
Okay, because for me, it was just a matter of I'm always so busy.
Sure.
I don't have time to go out, but this one was a bigger one in certain circumstances, and I wanted to have some FaceTime with clients.
Oh, absolutely.
And everything like that. So I went out and I was working with two guys. One guy I had never worked with before, and the other guy I probably have not worked with for 10 years.
Wow.
So this was due, and that wasn't the plan going in, but because of circumstances and other people's schedules and stuff, it worked. So I had the opportunity to work with a local 80 grip out there, and we were comparing notes, and it was so surprising to me to compare our two worlds. His world is really locked down with his main key grip and who he normally supports, and he's springboarding off of a DP and a key grip that are working a lot of jobs. This individual had never invoiced before.
What?
Time
card only?
Think about it.
So time card only.
A time card only.
Wow.
Because he's local 80. He's on shoots.
Okay.
Right? It's all through the union. It's all payroll and stuff. And he had been in the industry for probably 8 years. He had never invoiced.
Wow.
Because we were discussing that. Obviously, he had to invoice for that job.
Sure. Sure.
And I just really found that different. Also, he had never, he's a local 80 grip, he really had not worked lighting and didn't know much about it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it was actually kind of fun. We both like, you know, he got with me on the thing, we were lighting some cars and stuff like that. So he got to play with a little bit of lighting and look at it, and he enjoyed it, you know, because it's something different that you do. And from my point of view, I saw him as a grip. Well, most of the people, like myself, that I work with are gripticians.
Right, of course.
You're electric, you're grip, you can handle whatever, you know, you're doing, you know, that way. But to watch him work as a grip when gripping is the only thing you do.
Wow.
Oh, it was amazing.
Wow.
It was amazing. The
he
tricks that he had,
the
quickness of setting something up, you know. And we had a couple of young PAs there who were mid-20s, you know what I mean? Very good guys.
Did Sean know them?
Serious about, no, Sean didn't know those two. I can't introduce them, then Sean know everybody I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But they were serious about it. They want to build their careers and stuff like that. So it was so nice to see those guys get together with a very experienced grip, which normally would not have been on my set, and really talk about that and able to learn a little bit more about how the system works. It's very cool.
But it's interesting that you said that, you know, this grip guy, he didn't know anything about lighting, but yet he's standing next to the guy. You know, on a big feature. I'm surprised he didn't pick off any information about lights. You know, that's surprising.
Well, you know, I mean, I think he probably knew what a name was or something like that. But you know how it is. When you're in context of lighting, I mean, I think this is one thing I found out because I'm a little bit of a different animal in the fact that I own a company that rents lighting equipment. So for me, I have to be more knowledgeable in a lot of areas than that, you know. But I think he had the concept, but you don't have the concepts. What can the light do? You know, there's something that happens that I don't even think about now. Somebody says, we want to light this wheel. Right? I'm really not thinking about where am I going to do this. I go, what size? I'm looking at size at that point, and I'm saying that's what I want to get. I want to get a 400. That's also based on the available power. It's based on environmental and all that stuff, you know. So I think that's it. And I know for him, he had fun doing a little lighting. You know what I mean?
Very good.
But I think we might have another
two questions
in one show. Can you believe it?
Oh my goodness!
Usually it's one question for
our
two
second
shows.
viewer finally showed up.
Oh, thank God!
Thank God!
Thank God!
Hey, no, but we'd like to actually thank everybody that's tuning in this week.
Yes.
Our viewership has been up lately, and we're so happy to have everybody tuning in and
Thank you,
watching the
Tony.
show. We're happy to bring it to you. So Robert Buchanan, who was on the show last week.
Robert, woo!
Has a question. Do you see any differences in working with crews in San Diego versus crews in LA?
Well, yes. I will give you just a straight yes on that one for at first. Here is the difference, and it's a difference of maybe LA and everywhere else, right? You have to remember that Los Angeles is the production colossus of the world. You know, it's not just the biggest one. It is the one.
Biggest
now, and before you write your letters,
I
know Atlanta produces more
Chicago,
more
New
movies,
York.
and New York both produce, hear me out, more movies than Los Angeles does.
But that has only taken place in the last 5 years.
5-10 years. Yes, 5 years probably. Now, LA does, they do more TV series.
Yes.
You know, but there's competition coming into LA, but still all of the resources for those movies, right? The majority of it comes from Los Angeles, and even in big international movies, there's always a studio component, and those studios are all headquartered in Los Angeles.
In LA.
So, you know, and Los Angeles, Hollywood, if you will, is the only one with like 100-year history of making films, too.
Absolutely.
So these people have come in and organized, and for what they do, and I think that's a phrase that you really want to keep in mind, for what they do. They have researched it. They've already done all the R&D, and they do it the best way, state of the art, that they're doing it right now, and that R&D is always pushing them to new things.
Right.
But let's talk about the guys on the ground, the guys that are laying the cable, the guys that are throwing up the 20 bys and the fly swatters and all that stuff. You know, they have a process of working there that has sort of been established, and it sort of works like this. On my side of the fence, okay, I'm a freelancer, I own a small company. My clients are smaller production or medium-sized production companies, maybe agencies that are coming at me with a dollar budget. Right? And I have to work the gear, the guys, everything within that budget. You know, and make my money too.
You're in a little nut,
So that is going to dictate amount of guys, amounts of shots, amounts of available lighting, all of that. The Hollywood mentality is keep a dozen guys standing there until I need something, and it takes me 5 minutes to get it once I decide I need it.
Oh, absolutely.
That is the most efficient way for them to work, because if they say, oh, okay, I don't want 6 extra guys hanging around here, you know what I mean? You take those 6 guys out. Now, if there's a slowdown or a change, you're really spending some huge ass money then on location. Say if that location went over by a day, forget the 6 guys. You just lost enough that would have kept them working the whole show. You know, so that's one big difference like that. And the fact that most on large Hollywood features, or even small, some are unionized, and that is because of SAG. Because SAG is the strongest union in Hollywood.
And a big difference is crossover. You know, you got a lot of guys down in San Diego, Orange County, San Diego area that wear multiple hats. So, you know, up in LA, it's regimented, and a grip is a grip, a lighting guy is a lighting guy. And down here, Orange County, San Diego, everybody pitches in to get the job done. It's more of a team effort than a me effort.
You know, too, I think one thing too that is important in this too that we came across yesterday, and this was the grip talking to me, you know, about that. He goes, you know, it's so difficult in Hollywood once you're in a position to raise up to the next position, because think about it. Just say you're a key grip and you decide, you know, I'd love to be a DP. Well, now you've got to go over to the 728 side, right? And you've got to be an electric. You've got to, you know, you've got to do the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? Going through there. You've got to probably become a camera assistant. You know what I mean? And then an operator. And then you could make it up to DP. Well, you're 50 plus years old by that time. And you better make sure you have enough money going along, because every time that you switch another area, you're going to be back at the bottom of that list and work up. You know, as opposed to our world that we live in, where you're a griptician, you could get thrown on a camera or teach yourself the camera and start getting your own jobs and develop your own look and style.
Absolutely.
So if you want to go up to a certain position, now, and let's just say a guy does that outside of the union area, and he is a pretty good DP, he is in pretty good demand, he could, theoretically, get hired to do a feature as a DP, and then he joins the union just because he's hired. So, you know, there's several ways of doing that. I can say that Hollywood does it in the correct fashion for what they do. Our side of it, which is more, you know, the griptician type side of it, we make it work. Gripologists. And we've got very, very, very talented guys, you know. And I think you can do a bigger, better, you know, a very good look, move very quickly with the way our operation runs too, because that's what you often demand.
I agree. You know, Bern, I was on this shoot with that M company. And it was pretty cool. We were doing the dash gauges and the heads-up display, and the B-roll camera, over the shoulder camera, looking at all these instruments. The operator had a great setup. Basically, he had the newest Nikon D1, D5, whatever it was, but he had it on a remote control head in the back. So he set his shot, and instead of having to sit in that back seat, through an app, he was able to iris the shot, focus the shot, everything through his app on an iPad outside the car.
Wow.
And it was just sensational. Plus, he had a remote head. So it could tilt down, up, down, pan, everywhere.
Yeah.
So there was no shaking in the car by that operator.
Yes, huge
During
thing.
the show, so it was huge.
Ironically, Gary, I was on an automobile shoot with the B company.
Oh, that B company.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he had the same exact setup.
Wow. So
he actually had
I hadn't seen that. I hadn't seen that.
And he was on his phone with the app.
Yes.
Doing the same thing. And you know what? We move so fast compared to the old days, dude.
That's right.
The old days, there was Appleboxes and sliding the DP in through the hatchback so we could operate this way and do all that. It was so fast. And what we did is we took a 12-foot board, 1x12, cut it in half or three quarters.
Sure.
Had enough to go outside the car, so we just put it on the doors like that, put it up on Appleboxes, just put the thing, so we didn't even have to touch anything on the car.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we were banging it off pretty good, and we needed to. We needed to make some time up, But no, I know
that was so
how
cool.
different, dude, from the old days.
Wow.
I mean, I remember taking seats out, building it up with Appleboxes back there, and
I remember the only thing we couldn't get was the heads-up display on the driver's window.
We were doing those too.
But we couldn't figure out how to do it. Nobody get it. So
we have to black it out.
Well, we blacked it out, but we still just couldn't see it.
Because it's not bright enough.
So they did. It wasn't bright enough. So the graphics people say, hey, we'll
get that in post.
or we'll put it in post. So we got over that.
That's good.
But it was a great shoot. Real good, real successful.
That's on. What days were those?
That was pre-light, I believe, was Monday, and then we shot all day Tuesday.
All day Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah, very nice.
My shoot was out in Thermal, California. There's a racetrack out there, and so they were doing running footage. Wow. You know what I mean? We were doing in-car testimonials as they were driving the track.
Any droning?
Droning.
Wow.
We did droning, of course, and then we were doing interior, exterior beauty shots. Not a whole beauty of the car, but beauty shots. Instrument cluster.
Sure.
That type of thing. All of that, and these heads-up displays. I think that's not the correct word, but the everything is digital. So it just appears. The picture of it. It's like an iPad. And,
sure.
So that was so cool. I mean, that was just really nice looking stuff,
that was
and really
cool.
well done. So that was fun. But at my shoot, the coolest day was 105.
I don't know how you did it, Vern.
You know what? I almost didn't. I'll tell you, I almost didn't. And that's one thing I really wanted to talk about today, because we've all been in these situations where you're in a very, very tough environment. Oh, there I am.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Wow,
Yeah,
I
that's
actually
me.
see some skin.
Yeah.
Wow, is that shorts, Bernie?
I'm wearing shorts, a rare sighting. I'm wearing a hat, an even more rare sighting than that. And for prosthetics, my legs don't look bad.
No. I'd give it an 8 on a scale of 100.
Yeah, I would say it's okay.
Yeah.
Now this was just at the morning, and we shot it and stuff. And I'll tell you the honest to God truth, I was seriously worried about going on this shoot. Like I said, it had been a couple months since I had been on set. I'm not the spring chicken anymore, I might remind you. But I was looking at it there. I didn't know what I was in for, really. And I was with a couple guys. Me and 2 guys, so we all got to work. There's nobody standing at the monitor pointing.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and Sean and I, we were worried for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean and I were thinking, hey, do you get the 10-ton or do I get the 5-ton?
No, Gary's going, Let's try it on, Sean. Say it again. Gary's Applebox. Come on, let's hear it.
Yeah, pull it in. Gary's Applebox.
No, you're saying it too slow.
Got a good ring to it.
Yeah, just let it
Gary's
fall off your tongue. Gary's Applebox.
Wow,
Gary's
wow. I promise to bring 3 full apples on every shoot.
Everybody gets
an
3
apple
apples.
box in every kitchen.
That's right. There you go. That's right. So this is another, we did some detail stuff,
Nice.
Out there. And, the thing is it was so hot, dude, that production was on it. I was on it with my guys and stuff. Yeah, there's another one we were doing
Very
some
cool.
stand-ups.
Wow.
But we had to do, everybody was reminding everybody else to drink water. I literally had water in my hand or in my pocket or drinking it at all times. At all times. Yeah, that's what we did. Some beauty shots with.
Wow.
So we just throw it under the the silk there and then grab pieces and stuff like that. So I was drinking water.
This shot.
You like
shot.
this one?
I love
like
this shot.
One? I did too. And you know what? I posted that on my Facebook. I think only a gaffer would love this as much as I do. And some people wrote in and go, yeah, it's, okay, and I get it. Only a total nerd ass like myself would post that and be so proud of it.
To tell you the truth, Bernie, I thought Arifa painted that picture. I thought that's what it was. I was just trying to figure out what the brown stuff was in the back.
Yeah, well, that's a racetrack.
So that's the racetrack.
So we're actually here. Let me explain it. This was a shot we were doing for a dessert shot. We needed a B-roll of a dessert shot, right? So he goes, well, let's go. We want a track in the back, but we wanted some dessert. Eventually, vanilla ice cream went in that. It was scooped into it.
At 105 degrees.
Yeah, well, we're inside there.
Okay,
we're inside,
okay.
yeah. And so that was done. It was B-roll for something somebody said. We're going to play it.
Whoa. I gotcha.
But what I loved about that is the way I lit this is I took a 4x8 white card and I banged a 1200 into it, and I knew we'd have to do it. But this is after that was there, and I took a picture after the first time I looked at monitor. So I did everything, lit this, and then came back and looked at monitor, and I just, you know how that is when it strikes you? Like at the first look, it's just like, God, I got it right. You know what I mean? Hole in one,
Wow.
And so I go, God, this looks pretty good. The DP goes, yeah, I love it. Wow. So I didn't touch a thing. You know what I mean? I just took that picture and I posted it and said, hey, this is, you know what I mean? What's going on? And said, you had to be a nerd. It got good response, but what I loved about it is we lit it, we held the window, we kept everything. It was white, but it wasn't blowing out. It was just slightly down from the background.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you could see every line, every curve in the dish and the bowl. You know what I mean? So to me, it just hit a lot of good things. Now, somebody just looking at that would go, yeah, it's a bowl on a table, exactly. Right. Why would anybody be possibly excited about that? But you have to have my nerd mentality or our nerd mentality in this business that would allow you to enjoy it. Yeah. So that was fun.
The one, I forgot to bring up this one little tidbit about the shoot that I was on last week, was that we did lighting, we set it up. The client looked, DP looked, everybody looked at the shot, and it was fairly wide. It was the interior of the shot, talent was looking at camera, going to read the teleprompter, and everybody bought off on it. So we did our 2 reads, there were 2 scripts, we read it, and then they go, okay, let's go in for some B-roll.
Yeah.
So one of the clients jumps into the car and goes, oh, what's this gaffer's tape doing on the steering wheel? And what it was blocking some shiny piece of the steering wheel that was blatantly...
While you were filming before?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And they're going, oh, geez, somebody's going to pick this off and blah, blah, blah from that M company. And they go, and then they have a little powwow, and they went to the actress and go, oh, can you do it again? Yeah. And
Wow.
I could see the actress swallowing her tongue and just grinding on it and going, sure, let's do it again. And that was tough. But there you have it. You know, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? I don't know, Bern. That was a half-day costly mistake.
Let me ask you this. So you had to go back and reshoot all the shots just because there was a piece of tape?
Gaffer's tape hiding the shiny part of the steering wheel.
Yeah. And because when you were shooting it before, that's when you had the flare.
Right before we went, we said, okay, here she is, here's a shot, look at her, take a look. Does everybody buy off on the shot? Everybody goes, yep, buy it off. Well, the shot was wide. But when one of the clients got into the car and he's looking at the steering wheel, to see where the B-roll shots, sure enough, he saw that gaffer's tape. So just like...
Who put it there, the gaffer or
one of the grips. One of the grips put it in there. Just to hide it. He's like, oh, we see that shiny spot. Oh, yeah, just cover it up.
You know what? That is exactly why I don't do anything on my own without letting the DP know.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And yes, I will just tell you, half of it is total ass saving. But he's the guy who they're going to go to.
Absolutely.
He should know what's happening with the car. He should know what's going on. So I try not to keep that in a vacuum. And
there you go. That's a great point.
And you know what? Here's one of the other things. There is no product more political than a car. When you're in a car, you're doing that. You have no idea how much momentum is behind that shoot. That money has been allocated for it. It has gone through marketing, creative, legal.
Yes.
It has been on everybody's desk, up and down that chain of command.
Yep.
When you take different ideas and fix something that is easily fixable in our world, everybody needs to know that information.
Oh, yeah. All the way down the line.
Yeah.
And here's the weird part, is that nobody even saw that tape on the wide shot.
Right.
Nobody. But when somebody pointed it out, guess what? Everybody's eyes
Or right on there.
right on that.
Yeah.
Bam.
And they never saw it before.
And they never saw it on the white.
Yeah.
And the way the shot was the way this little segment was going to go, it was going to remain on the wide shot. There were no close-ups of the talent.
Right.
It was showing the interior of the car, and of course the over-the-shoulder and showing the instrumentation. So more than likely, 99.9, nobody ever picked it off.
Yeah.
Nobody.
But thank God they picked it off where they picked it off.
Yes.
How would that have been in post?
Absolutely.
That would have been done.
Right.
Yeah.
And the only reason why we couldn't use it, right, because in post you could just
you could erase it.
You could erase it and get rid of it, but her hand kept going through that area. So there's no way to work around it.
That's going to be 35 hours.
Yeah,
in
thank
post.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, you know what? It is a very, you can't be careful enough, and I can't stress. And you know what I always stress to my guys, too, is just be really careful of what you're in earshot of. Be very careful. No talking about, hey, how long do you think the shoot will last?
Right.
If they hear you talking,
when do we get paid?
Or here's the classic, and it happens to everybody too. You're working around a car. What do you think of this? I don't know. I don't like it. You know what? That company spent millions of dollars designing that car.
Yeah.
No one wants your opinion. When they want your opinion, they'll give you the car for a week to drive so you can write the review.
Thank you.
Other than that, you love that friggin' car. That's
You
the best
love it.
friggin' car you ever saw.
You want to buy 10 of them.
It's genius.
Yes.
That car is genius.
Yep.
Yep. And that's all anybody wants to hear.
Sure.
That's all anybody wants to hear. Now, what I love is look, the EP on this shoot is a sweetheart of a guy. Sweetheart of a guy. I really like him. It was the second time I worked with him, but he was one of those people that truly, he's got a great personality. You know what I mean? And he's very well in control of himself and how he presents and everything like that. But just a really honest, nice guy, too. You know what I mean?
That's
so
nice.
It's nice to be able to have that conversation with him. But I think, and I keep in the back of my mind all the time, that this is just our relationship here.
Sure.
I don't have that open of a relationship with his business associate, his subordinate, anybody like that. When I'm with him, we can talk pretty much turkey.
Sure.
But you don't have that relationship, so be very careful about whom you're talking to. Do not get too far deep into their subject. If they want to rant a little bit to you, be that soft shoulder. You know what I mean? Let them cry on it a little bit or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But don't think that, you know, you're friends and this is buddy-buddy, because it could go very south.
It goes south fast.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's demeanor on set, too. You know, the gaffer or the DP or the director, you know, we're not saving lives in this business.
No.
You know, there's no reason to come down on anybody to say, hey, why are you doing it this? Why are you doing it that? Just talk on the same level. Level talking.
Right.
You know, kind of deal. And
you'll
get so much more respect and energy out of your crew.
So much more. And you know what? We were working, just to follow up on that point, we were working with a couple of young guys who I had not worked for as PAs. And, you know, you see them doing something, my immediate reaction is, don't they know better?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but the answer is, no, they don't know better.
They don't.
And it's my job, as certainly as gaffer, and as a leader, and somebody who they're looking up to naturally just through the process. It's my job to go over there and give them the correct information.
Absolutely, but not make a big deal out of it.
Not make a big deal, and not humiliate them. You know what I mean? Key is like giving everybody respect on set, and not putting anybody down.
Absolutely.
You know? And just telling them what you expect of them, because that's another thing. Just like I talked about the safety meeting and how we were kind of dispersed from the very first of being there.
Right.
That also threw off a little bit of a pattern for me, which is going up to every PA and every department head. And of course, in this case, I knew every department head, you know, but going up to the PAs and stuff like that, introducing myself, and giving them an idea of what I'm expecting from them today. Okay. And also one of the things too, because this is important to keep in mind, how did you get on set today?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's the EP's brother.
Right.
And you should know that information.
Or the son of the producer.
The son or a relative or family.
Client,
you know,
client.
Next door neighbor, the client's kid.
Yeah,
all that stuff. So you want to be very careful about yours. I'm not saying you treat them any differently or you go, you know, easy or anything. You have that same expectation
level.
But you're understanding it's his first day on set.
Right.
It's this guy's 10th day on set. You know, you get a gauge.
Because one day they could be the client.
They'll be the ones. I remember that Burnie guy helped me out. Literally, I have worked, and you have too, for people. I think we got another caller here.
Another caller.
Well, yeah.
Caller.
I wish somebody
would get the call.
We got a caller.
I'm dreaming.
Byron Bennett.
Oh, Byron, how you doing, brother?
Has a very open question. So we'll see if you guys can
answer
this.
I'm sure I could talk for hours. I'm sure I could talk for hours.
You could probably talk our whole show on this one. How and where did you both start out learning about being a gaffer / electrician?
Oh boy. Well, Gary's an audio guy. He still doesn't know what he's doing.
I have no clue.
But you know, you do.
I like
know
to hide the
doing.
mic.
You do know what you're doing. Boy, Byron, that is such a $64,000 question. You know, really, Byron, what I did is I just started in and I found out where I was needed. I think that was really the first right thing that I did. And if that meant running to go grab an Applebox, if it meant going to get some coffee for the producer and stuff like that, making sure the director had an Applebox when he was sitting there, had to stay with a product or something like that and got comfortable. That's where I really learned it. As they saw that I was engaged and they saw that I cared and was listening, then more assignments came. Then, and this will always happen, this is not just a temporary, but this will always happen, is that somebody will notice you and they want you for their department. Now, for me, being a male and I was older, I was 40 years old, that became a really easy pick for that gaffer to go, hey, is that guy working tomorrow?
Right.
I know he doesn't know anything, but we all know enough
Yeah.
to keep that guy running for sandbags.
Oh, heck yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I got on, and that's how I did it. And I stayed low. You know what I mean? I made myself available price-wise
Yes.
to get in there and get myself very well established.
Right,
So
right.
there's a lot of other factors to it, but that was probably the most important ones.
Yeah, for me, getting into sound mixing, what I did is when I was first PAing, I'd look around the set and I go, wow, that grip's carrying 3 or 4 sandbags, and that director's being chewed out by the producer.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at all these different positions, and I look over to the sound guy and I go, wow, the guy's sleeping on the job. I want that job. That is great. All he has to say is plane, train, automobile. That's just three words. That was the easiest gig on the set. I go, I want that job.
Yeah.
So throughout the years, sound was really good to me. Had a lot of fun experiences, and doing sound, I was able to work with everybody in town.
Yeah, which is hugely
which is
important.
wonderful, and I was
Hugely
able to
important.
network.
Yeah.
and became a household name here in Orange County.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, at least at cleaning up the household.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. One other thing I'd like to say to Byron, I wished I would have done what Gary did.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
See?
yeah. I
See?
wished I would have become
That's
a sound
everybody
man.
says. Everybody always wants to be a soundman when they come back.
You know what? But I've got to say this, and this is the difference. We've talked about this before, and it is very apparent. Is nobody walks up to you on set and say, "Boy, that sound looks great."
Oh, no.
Right? No one does that.
No.
And you know what? There's and I always say this almost every show. We are a industry of personality types, and what that means is I'm the kind of guy that needs a stroke.
Right.
I need to be. I am very happy enough knowing to myself that I did a great job and it looks good and I like it.
Yes.
That is good enough for me. But when the producer or director or DP comes up and says, you know what, thank you, buddy, that really looks awesome. You did a great job. Or you see how to fix a problem
Right.
and stuff, and you can go in there and do that quickly. There's a gratification that comes with that I need.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You are not as needy as I am because
Right.
you want to get good sound,
Sure.
make sure it's good, and then get the check.
Right.
I'm partially the check and my ego are
Right.
both you know what I mean, both on the line when I'm doing my job, and I think that's a personality type, and I think that's why I was attracted to a more difficult job. You
Yeah.
know, or less definable job.
Less than much. The saying that always went through the business was that any monkey can do audio.
Right.
Until
Yeah.
there's a problem.
That's right.
That was
that's right.
That was the only deal. And a pat on the back for a sound guy is like 6 inches above a kick in the ass. Basically, that's the way it worked. But I recommend sound. That's always a good thing because my famous quote is that you can set up the most beautiful shot on
You're right.
this earth, and here comes the talent. And they're spieling it and saying, oh, we're here on the Alps and blah, blah, and oh my God, here comes the sunrise and it's beautiful. And the talent goes, this is the greatest thing that I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then how much is your
You've
shot
got
worth?
nothing.
How much is your shot worth?
You've got nothing. It's worth zero.
Now, audio is 50% of the picture.
No, audio is 90% of the picture.
Right. 'Cause you gotta get
I'm
together. There you
as
go.
a gaffer, I've always said
There
that.
you go.
I've
Good
always
one,
said
Vern.
that because with audio, you've still got an interview.
Well, you got to tell the story.
You could take that audio and put B-roll on top
Sure.
of it and have just as effective of a piece
Yes.
as you did looking at their face.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And if you don't have that, then you don't have anything. If
you
you
got
don't have the
nothing.
audio, So, yeah, it's I don't know, Gary. It's something that we all do. You find your place in here. You go for it. You do it. I just know it's a great job and it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
And when I'm done with that job on that day, I actually feel like I accomplished
Yes,
something. And I really
yes.
realized this on this last job. I was coming away from it and I just said, it feels like I did something.
Right.
when I'm doing just the regular business work of the company and everything, taking orders, making, filling things out, doing all that stuff, it never feels like I'm really accomplishing something. You walk away from a shoot where you got a bunch of beauty shots and you've got all your shots and everything's in the can. You really do, I do, feel that gratification.
Absolutely, I agree. Every time we shoot a program or a movie or what have you, what we're doing is we're taking a slice of that particular environment, and we're painting it.
Yes.
And making it into a beautiful picture, and then put all the pictures together, and you've got a storyline.
And you leave, and it's all gone. It's all
gone.
ethereal. But what you have is right there. Yeah. You know what? I think we've finally run the guys out of time.
Well,
so,
no way.
I
say extend the show for at least another few days.
When you see them, when they start packing their lunch boxes while you're still on the air, it's about time. The show's almost over.
I think Sean is packing a bowl over there. I don't know what the heck's going on.
That's Cannabis TV.
Oh, that's Cannabis TV.
Yeah, that's not Applebox. That's Cannabis TV.
Cannabis TV.
What'd you say, Tony?
So we already turned the computer off. We're done.
Yeah.
Wow.
There they go. But hey, guys, thanks for a great show again. And as usual, Gary, thank you.
Bernie, thanks for having me on.
And really, mostly, thank you. Thank you for tuning in, being with us. We want to hear what you want to hear about, so please let us know. Please, anybody contact me directly about the show. Also, I think I should say this, since we do it, and I am like the worst salesman in the world. I'm a great guy to make things happen. I'm a horrible guy to actually sell them. Okay? But we do live streaming. Applebox Network can go out to any location and do a 3-camera live stream. We can bring B-roll into that. We can do call-ins into that.
Absolutely.
And we don't even need an internet port to send it out to all social media and websites. Okay, so we can do that. We have the technology to do that. We have done it for Chapman.
Yes.
We've done it for Matthews.
Yes, that's correct.
We've done it for here. These studios, our studios right here.
Hybrid, yeah.
Hybrid, yeah. And so we've done that. We can do that. We can do that for your event organization as well.
Absolutely.
And we got these 2 crack guys right here that'll come out and actually make it happen, and I'll talk about it.
Sure thing.
So anyway, I just want to say thanks a lot. I hope to see you here next week, 2 o'clock Friday, Applebox Network. I will be here with my buddy Gary.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right. Tailboard.
Thanks.
Tailboard you later.
All right. See you then. Yeah, a tailboard meeting. Cut. That's a wrap.